I am going to do a live stream for those of you that were on Blog Talk just about a half an hour ago. I thank you. I was really surprised to have such a good turnout at an early time. I was so paranoid that no one was going to be on. Now, normally I'm on Blog Talk Radio at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I wanted to do these live streams after. So I don't know, like, again, if anyone knows that I'm on. I don't know if anyone's going to be catching this. I'm going to turn on my chat to see if anyone joins. And to see, like I said, first time using this software. And until I could figure out how it works, we're gonna see. Okay. So I wish that someone was on, then I could say, can you hear me? I'm just gonna assume that you can. So we're going to do a few, card readings here tonight, and I'm just gonna do for anyone that actually winds up hearing this live stream, because that's how psychic energy works. Energy goes to energy. So when we're doing a psychic reading, people say, well, how do you know that information? Well, it's again, every person holds an energy vibration. That's due to the thoughts that they think and the emotions that they have. So when we're doing a psychic reading, we're actually tapped into a person's energy. So when we tap in and we think, a psychic thinks about what's going on, like what's going on with a person's like relationships. We're actually feeling their traumas, if they have any. We feel their blessings around it. We like there's a lot of different feelings and emotions that come up, and sometimes again it's just a claircognizance. So the tools that we use dictate that. So my tools, my cards are the Psychic Soul Healing Oracle system, and this system tells us what spiritual blocks we have. So I always like to start my readings off this way. So a reading, again, if you landed on this story, again, because some people call them stories, when you're not doing a reading for any particular person, because this is my first live stream, so this is no one's on, even though I advertised it. That, the more that you do it, the more that people hear about it. So I was prepared that no one would hear this until it was mainly in the archives. So I, did some research because, everyone's got to start somewhere. So that most people say with their cards in the beginning is that you're telling a story. And the cards tell a story because there's no point person that we are pinpointing the energy to. It's just kind of like a random reading. So where the cards are telling a story. Now we're not in charge of the story, but our perception of the story is determined by, again, whether or not we're healed or not. So again, the Psychic Soul Healing Oracle deck will let a person know where their spiritual blocks are. Where I also have the Mystic deck, which is all about energy, because the words hold energy. The same way that the cards on these words hold energy are the same way that words on this card and this card and this card hold energy. But there's a different vibe, almost like if you listen to certain music, you'll get a different vibe, again, different tone too. But with cards, it's really energy, so it is a vibe. And that vibe, like, could be mystical. That's what they say this card is. And again, everything is energy. So some cards you'll find work better with certain people. But again, this is a random general reading because no one's on. So again, when we're using the Psychic Soul Healing Oracle deck, we're thinking of an intention. First, with any deck of cards, that's what you're doing. So you're saying, okay, my intention for this reading, this intention for anyone that catches this live stream, this message is for you. Let's pull out a card. I always like to just get my energy through them. Think of my intention, think of a question, and then just pull from the middle or from wherever you're called to. And this is Promethean fire. So Promethean fire is actually the emotion, the passion that we put into something, how much love we put into something, because that's how you get results. So for anyone that's tuning in or that winds up listening to this in the archives, no, you're probably in a place in your life where you are either looking for this, again, passion, or this is what's dictating your life. For me, again, because right now I'm the only person on this stream, this is dictating my life. And it's dictating my life through what I love to do. And that's through how much energy I'm putting towards it. So let's pick up another thing. Now, it also could be like if I was looking at it again, because this is psychic and everyone's psychic, but you're going to say, well, what is the difference with psychic and why are some people's readings off, or why can't I read for myself? Some people say that. They say I can't read for myself, I could read for other people. And the reason why is because their own emotions get in the way, their own core beliefs get in the way, and our own core beliefs create certain emotions which block our intuition. So Promethean fire, this is the emotion and the passion that actually drives us to do what we love to do, regardless of whether anyone's on our live stream or whether anyone shows up to our concert that we hold. It's again because it doesn't matter, because the kingdom of God's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. And a lot of times it's just about being consistent. It's about being consistent because mastery comes in doing. So understand the Promethean fire is the passion for life. And understand sometimes in the beginning, you're not seeing momentum in the beginning of anything. You see momentum like start to pick up after you've been doing something for a certain amount of time. Promethean fire allows us to do that. That's a passion, the drive. So the next thing, Christ consciousness. So this is another thing that when we're starting off in our passion, it's again, I think Spirit's trying to give me a reading. Like when we first start off and we're doing our passion, and we're trying to figure out a way that it's again Christ consciousness is these higher levels of Christ, which is perseverance. Well, again, perseverance, and some days is going to be hard. Some days it's not easy. It's again, I ran into a friend yesterday that says, "You want to be successful? You have to do, if you're on YouTube, you have to do it every day, regardless of whether you want to or not. Like it's every day, is how much energy you're putting into it." And again, the Promethean fire allows us to do that. So Christ consciousness means some of us, again, if you're in this space, maybe you need healing. Maybe you found this to listen to healing. What is your healing message of the day? It's not going to be a predictionary reading with these cards. With these cards, it's more of a healing style reading. Excuse me. A healing style reading, which is God saying, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to heal. It's again that in the beginning of anything, it's slow. But the Promethean fire is the love and the passion and the drive that we have to create something that we want to create. Christ consciousness is coming from a higher state of consciousness. It's dictating to us, and that's through what we want to create. It's through our imagination. It's through love. It's through perseverance. It's through trial and error. It's through, again, you have to go through a lot of spiritual tests in order to manifest. Because there's a lot of people that are going to try and knock you out of your first place. There's going to be a lot of people that, again, that give you envy and jealousy and try and make it like you're out to be a bad person or do bad. It's again, you can't get caught up in other people's feelings. Christ consciousness is just coming from a state of love regardless of what's thrown at you. And you can do that if you're in your passion. And again, because this is driving you. And I know this. And I know this because that's actually a personal walk. So let's see what else the message is. Unstructured. So understand the manifestation process in the beginning is very unstructured because we learn as we go. Most of us are tactile. We need to do it. Mastery comes in doing. So in the beginning, it's unstructured, but then there should be some sort of system. Like for me, in the beginning of each one of these live streams, when I'm going to do cards, we're always going to start with my deck. Why? Because there's always a spiritual message. There's always a spiritual message, and that spiritual message tells us again where we are in our process, maybe what we need to look out for, maybe something that needs healing. Like for me, I'm sure the spirit's saying you need a little bit more structure. You're unstructured, and and so we need to be honest with ourselves. I mean, when we're using my deck, it's all about healing. It's all about being honest with ourselves. And what this is unstructured. So, but understand the beginning parts of manifestation are unstructured. That's why it says be like childlike. Children are not structured. They don't know about structure. It's again, they're just trying and doing and they're feeling it and they're again exploring it and they're using their imagination to see whether it can work. There's no judgment about a process. So that is like of a Christ consciousness, but we know that the physical world needs structure. So we also have to be honest with ourselves and say, am I unstructured? And I have to say, yeah, I'm a little unstructured. I don't like structure. I don't like any type of structure. I don't believe in it. I believe that it cramps the creative expression. Okay, shadow dislocation. So it's again detachment. Detachment from our shadow. So the shadow part of self is a part of self that when we look in the mirror, we say, this is who I am. And that's based on the blocks. So some of you, again, if you're listening to this, is understand Promethean fire, it's what's driving you. Christ consciousness is the higher consciousness, again, the creative vision. Unstructured is actually, again, what your process probably is, and you probably need to structurize it a little bit, but understand the beginning of every process is unstructured. And we need to look at our traumas when we're manifesting. We need to look at the shadow part of ourselves because this is where we sabotage ourselves. That's why that's the most important part. The most important part of our healing is to know where are we detached from each other, because wherever we are detached from ourselves is where we're rejecting ourselves. You could say, what does that look like? Well, it's going to look like people that you want to love you rejecting you. It's again, that's how that manifests. You're going to be detached from your physical body. You have anxiety. There's a lot of things that happen when our shadow is again like needs healing, when we again have traumas that are not integrated. So again, healing. And that's why I do these first before I do any type of cards. Because if you don't know what a trauma is, again, or why, how it manifests, you could do cards. And then what it is, it's like 1 week it'll tell you to do this. The next week it'll tell you to do this. Well, now you need to do this. Now you're making cards think for you, which is bad. You don't need cards to dictate to you. It's you're checking on it. This is where, like, again, readings get abused. It's like when a person needs to rely on outside things to tell them. We should have a good sense within ourselves to feel what it is, but we can't do that unless we heal ourselves. And then we can use these tools, because otherwise then it's like someone else is driving your car and there's never a sense of comfortability, there's never a sense of safety. It's always because things change, and then you're never present, you're never in the moment, you're always worried about what's going to happen. So shadow dislocation is again, we have to look at detachment. So again, if you're listening to this and you're saying, well, I am manifesting and I do have the creative vision and I am on that, but I am a little unstructured, then part of you would have to structureize yourself too, to again integrate the shadow part of self. Why? Because you have to recondition. You have to recondition your nervous system. You have to recondition certain thoughts that you think. You have to recondition certain behaviorisms. They won't heal on their own. You heal them. And you heal them through how much time, energy, focus you put into them. And that's how we heal ourselves. So understand, it's again, whoever's the healing is, whoever listens to this, you may say, well, I don't know what my soul's path is. It's again, this message would be find your passion. It's again, Christ consciousness means come from a place of love, but understand there are certain spiritual principles, such as you're going to need to persevere. You're going to need to understand that I live inside of you, so I'm working through you, again, and guiding you. You're going to need to heal certain things, again, whichever it is, and to structureize yourself, but understand, again, the creative process is unstructured. So the creative process is unstructured, but you need to become a little structured. And why is that? Well, it's again, you structureize is, you condition yourself to think certain things and to behave certain ways. And that automatically will help you heal. Because what I'm seeing here again is that someone has a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of like, again, a dream that they want to create, and they are getting a lot of downloads, they are getting a lot of spiritual guidance to do this, but they still need to heal. You still need to heal certain shadows, otherwise it's gonna feel like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. So that's that reading for the psychic soul reading. So again, so anyone that just listened, these were the cards. And really fast, one more time. I know I might sound redundant, but it's again, Promethean fire is your passion, your drive, your love, your lust for life. What makes you get out of bed? Again, Christ consciousness is coming from a place of love, it's perseverance, it's all those higher spiritual ways of being. Like, because again, our character is going to determine how we manifest, whether or not something's sustainable. When things are not sustainable, it's because they were not built on solid ground. So Christ consciousness is coming from solid ground because it's always coming from a place of love. It's again, unconditional love is what our passion. And so shadow dislocation means you need to look for anywhere where you are spiritually blocked. Again, spiritually blocked is when we might have anxiety. And really, if I'm pulling this unstructured, I would say that's a root chakra imbalance. So again, we can read it that way too. See, there's many different ways our intuition can read this message. Like there was at least 4 different ways. Like again, our drive, our passion, coming from a place of higher Christ consciousness, of love, um, integrating our shadow, get into a spiritual practice, or again, understand that creating and healing is actually an unstructured practice. And it is because you're being intuitively told. You're not using the left brain. The left brain is structured, it's organized, it's methodical. This is not the right brain. The right brain is again creative. It's flowy. It's an energetic. It's a knowing. It's of a clear cognizance, clear sentient. It's that language. It is not. So that is your healing cards. Now let's look and see, because a lot of times people want to know. I want to know what's going on in my relationship. I want to know, so we can actually still use these cards and to see what the overall energy is between you and your soulmate. And again, this is whoever finds this, because I'm just going to do this one, and if no one else on, I'm going to end this stream. Well, I might play around just a little bit more, just for kicks. I want to see, is this check? Oh, is anyone? Oh, it's someone's on. Oh, someone is actually on. I did not see that somebody else was on. My apologies. Facebook user. I didn't know that you were on. I was looking at the private message. Please play around just for kicks. Oh, good, good. I certainly will. I certainly will. Thank you for being here. Hey, I'm so happy that you guys are here. I see the whole time my chat was off, and God says, "Isn't that typical of you?" But at least you got to see that. I said, well, it was, you get anxiety, because you don't know how it's going to go. This is completely like a faith walk. And yes, I've been doing readings for a very long time, but it doesn't matter. It's like, you're on camera and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So I'm just going to pull a card and we're going to see what happens. I'm so happy that you're all here. Okay, let's see. Timelessness. So we're just going to pull the overall energy for like the group at first. And then you guys can name, who you are, and I can do like tap into your energy. But for the overall energy, timelessness. And I feel like timelessness tends to be, when we think about time, we think about like how much time, like if we're older, we say, oh my God, like look how old we are. And when we're young, we're always kind of waiting for time to speed up. So, but timelessness, it means something that is forever, something that we treasure. And I feel like for a lot of people that are on, they're like really connected to their families now, or want to be connected to a family now. They're looking to create some sort of roots. And that's stability. So I feel like that's the overall energy. Now, certain people could obviously resonate with it more, but let's see what else. We're first going to do the psychic soul, because again, that gives us, this deck allows us to look at the wounds. Again, because predictions are not, they're not good predictions if we're not coming from a place of healing and wholeness. So when I had pulled shadow dislocation when the chat wasn't on, I don't know if you guys saw, but shadow dislocation is about detachment from certain aspects of ourselves. So a lot of times people are like, I want to know what's going on with my relationship. I want to know what's going on with my job. Like it's again, or they say, I already know, it's boring. I don't see anything happen. Whatever it is. Like, but there's a fear and there's an energetic fear behind it. So I think, like, again, it's most people, again, want to right, like looking again, a lot of people are looking for that, looking to attract and build a spiritual family, because most people don't have roots. A lot of people don't have roots, and it's because again their parents get older, like everything that's going on in the world makes us not trust. We're all looking for, like, again, some sort of stability, some sort of ground. So it's again exquisiteness. So it's again, believe it or not, what spirit is saying, okay, a lot of people want to know what their soul's path is. Because I'm like, well, like I can tell by two cards, and it's like, why? Timelessness is something that you've always loved, and exquisiteness is through your unique individuality. It's who you perceive you are when you look in the mirror. So looking to attract your spiritual family and build your spirit is not just through spiritual groups, believe it or not, it's through the things that you love. Because really, love is God. And when you are doing things you love, you become the vibration of that. And that is what allows you to attract that into your life. So money has no energy except for the energy you give it. So it's your unique exquisiteness, what makes you you. And there's a lot of people that don't know. It's like I didn't know for a really long time, because for a long time I lived from a place of what other people told me I was. And that wasn't good, because my mother, again, she was mentally sick and spiritually sick. I don't even want to say mentally sick. She was spiritually sick, which looks mentally sick. You say spiritually sick, what the hell does that look like? It's where the person's always angry. They hate life. There's always a problem. They don't know why they're here. And so they just create problems. And my father had cancer 9 times because of it. I mean, you can't help but to always look around and all that internal energy. So it made me psychic. It's again, but that's, you guys say, oh, psychic, that's cool. Well, there's a lot of things that, again, are not cool that go with being psychic. There's an oversensitivity. Your immune system is over because you're overstimulated for a long time. Your senses. So understand, for me, my timelessness and exquisiteness is, again, makes is what my pain brought me to my path. For you, you might say, I don't have anything like that. It's, again, sometimes it's your pain that brings you to your path, and sometimes it's just a gift, and sometimes it's just an internal knowing. But a lot of times, by the time people are in high school, they're already told, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And this is what creates, like, us not having exquisiteness, and what makes us feel like time becomes something. Like I'm raced for the clock. So I don't know what's going to happen. That's the fear that's all over it. And so empath. Look at this. The empath for the empath group. So it's, again, overstimulation. And I guess because, you know what, if I was always an empath, because, again, the cards tell a story, and so the cards tell a story for everybody. It's, again, but I think personally, it's like I'm an empath, and because I don't have, and I've always been an empath, and I'll always be an empath, that it's, again, it's exquisite to be an empath. It's different, it's unique, but I don't, like, there are things that need to be mastered when you're an empath. And they don't tell you that. It's, again, that your nervous system and training your body and mind to work together, and channeling your creativity and your emotions into purpose. And, like, there's a lot of topics when it comes to empathy, but being an empath and conditioning your nervous system to be like a very functionable, highly sensitive person. So it's kind of really important. By the way, I just see Facebook user. It doesn't tell me names, which is like, so I see, like, again, people's comments, but I'm not seeing anybody's name. So stuck. So I want to know who feels stuck. Let's play around this way. So you guys could be a little bit more interactive with me. Because I'm like, why, I want to know why I'm not really seeing close. I don't want that. I want to see, is anyone else, like, again, I'm stuck. Oh, good. Facebook user, I'm stuck. I'm so glad. I'm not glad that you're stuck. Hi, Natalie. Like, I'm like, thank you for sharing your name. And stuck. Okay. Okay, the blocking. I haven't been in a relationship in years. The last few years, I've been 100% vested in my passion and what I love to do. I love listening to you. Can't get enough. Oh, that's so. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. I'm glad, because I got to tell you, I was nervous about coming on. I've been talking about it, and God says, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just start where you are. And it's like, oh my God, I mean, even before I jumped on my Blog Talk Radio, and it did a great show. You guys, that you should listen to it. I'm going to post it up. I was like, because I always feel like when people listen, like, in the archives, they get something out of it, because if you're attracted to something, a lot of times it's spirit bringing you something. So, again, a lot of people are stuck, and they're stuck because they're not in the present moment. They don't know who they are. It's, again, and again, trying to constantly think about what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? You're only going to be able to come from what you've been through, what you've done already, and what you know from other people. And then you have judgments about that. It's, again, takes you further away from you. You got to realize that the kingdom of God's inside of you, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. What the hell does that mean? Well, if you can imagine it, you can create it. It means you have a God inside of you. And it's, again, and it's dictated through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have, because that is how we unconsciously take action. So if you're stuck, mainly it's because some of you feel like, I can't trust myself. It's like, or I think something, and then it's not that. It's like, I don't trust my intuition. understand sometimes when you're an empath, your emotions can get carried away before we know the entire story. This again is overstimulation. A lot of thought, a lot of emotion creates us to do. We can't feel. It's again, and so we're like, I don't trust myself, or it's time for me to perform, and I can't perform. I freeze, and then it's like, and then then I feel like everyone's disappointed in me, and then I'm disappointed in myself, and then I don't feel good, and then I drink, or then I do things that take me away from myself. My energy goes low. Right. So we have to then do things outside of ourselves to make us feel whole. And that's a problem because that becomes a whole entity all in itself. That shit will be take you down. Take you down. Like it's like because it keeps you bound to what you believe about yourself that's not true. And that's again, it's like eating poison every day. Because it's again, we're supposed to be passionate and flowy and creative, visionary people. That's what empaths have a lot of emotion because it's meant to be channeled. It's what makes shit happen. So if you're stuck, do you know your passion? A lot of times it's like, no, we get stuck in bullshit. We get stuck in what somebody else felt or being a caregiver to someone else. Again, all of it. Yes, and that shit will take you down 110%. And so when we're stuck, there is a sense of, again, getting more nervous and anxious. And the last thing that you want to hear is go do yoga, meditate on it. It's like, no, it could be you have anxiety. The what you want to do is you want to smoke 1,000 cigarettes and talk to 1,000 friends that don't know anything. They only know what you know because birds of a feather flock together. So everyone has usually the same freaking problem. So you're not really going to get anywhere. So it's like you want to again say, how can I escape? And really, it's to go in. The only way out is in. And that's through, again, when you're a highly sensitive person, it means that you're a gifted person. It means that you have a highly sensitive nervous system, which allows you to perceive energy. That's what that means. So being able to perceive energy. So, and that might mean for some people, if you're really stuck and you're stuck because you don't like the experiences that you created and you don't trust yourself, then you need healing. And that might be part of your spiritual path. Would that be horrible? It's again, God does uses everything for everything. Again, we turn water into wine. It's again, you change. I mean, boundaries definitely help. It's like, but for people to be, to create when, especially when creating, especially if you're stuck, finding yourself, become structured. Train your body and mind to work together. Again, you're not, people think, oh, I'm so psychic if I'm in my head. No, you're not. It's again, you're more spiritual when you're actually in your body and you're letting, God direct you. Then you can discern. Most people can't even get to the place of discernment because they're so overly stimulated. I mean, that's what people is stuck means. Stuck means that it's like I'm stuck and it's creating overstimulation. It's creating like again a problem where really your sensitivity is a gift. It's a gift. And it's a gift to either help or heal. It's again, we tend to be more spiritual, so victims. So some of you might be even in victim consciousness, which is, I feel like when I try and make something happen, it's like I get victimized. So a lot of people have problems with boundaries because, again, they've been victimized. It's like they feel like either they give too much or they give too little. They don't really know how to act. A lot of highly sensitive people have this problem where they don't trust themselves because they have been the victim. It's again, I've overgiven, I've overdone, and so and they can't tell the difference. So you might say, again, how can you become unstuck and how can you create? You create from creating a daily practice. Learn to clear mind of the noise, quiet, and then trust the message. Right. And so being able to trust the message, but trusting it, what does that look like? It means acting on the intuitive insight that you get. And the truth of the matter is, unless you train your body, you might not be, if you're highly sensitive, you might not be as successful. And it's because, again, there's a process that intuitively that we get, but there's always a space between what is sown to what is reaped. So meaning that there's a space. So it's, you just act on your intuition, the timing is off. When the timing is off, you trigger other people, because other people are like, again, like, you're calling me out of my shit. There's a reason why it says, be as wise as a serpent, but be as gentle as a dove. It means, I know what you're going to do, but I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do. I'm going to use that information so that I can navigate my life. Most highly sensitive people have a problem with this. Most highly sensitive people are the victim, mainly because their intuition told them something and they acted on it the wrong way, which is, again, what is sown is what we reap. So it's not a question where people are like, but that's good that you're, like, again, learning, because that's the first step. You definitely have to be able to trust your intuitive insight. You definitely have to when you're manifesting. So first is trusting, even if you don't like the answer, because a lot of times we won't. It's, again, especially if it has to do with a person that we like or a person that we wanted to be in our life, then it's really hard. But that's the first way that we can become a victim. It's, again, especially if you're an empath. It's, again, because now we have to get over the hurdle of our emotions. And knowing that when someone's in our life, they're really in our life. We know that they're a fixture in our life. And that's mainly because we've created that. Like, again, where highly sensitive people get themselves into codependent relationships. Is anyone here in a codependent relationship that would like me to pull a few cards? Does anyone have any questions opposed from being stuck? Because it's, again, like I explained why a few people are stuck, but because that's really, again, how it's best to work with these cards. I can pull, again, determination. Again, determination. So I think a lot of people, again, they have a hard time persevering because of determination. It's, again, and that's really determined by our passion. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, right. Do you have any questions? Because I'd love to. I have to be careful of. Oh my God, it's like, I think empaths always tend to have a problem with that. It's like, and I think that they have a problem with that because it's, again, they tend to say at first, I want to treat you the way I want to be treated. And so a lot of empaths tended to need a lot of emotional support, and we didn't get it. So you're in a drought to begin with, and then this narcissist comes along that, again, in the beginning, they're intuitive too, but they're using their psychic abilities to latch on to your energy by reading your energy, by being like, this person's this way, they like this, they like to do that, they like to do it, and they figure you out, and they become this perfect person. So once they have you and that you're comfortable, it's like a done deal. They own you. It's like, it's a very, like, there's a lot of it's why a lot of empaths get terrified to be in relationships. So let's pull a regular card. Look at this, the Wheel of Fortune, destiny. So is it your destiny to, like, be with a narcissist? I don't mean to say that I don't think so. I think that is, again, your destiny to not. Again, signifies uncontrollable events or relationships connected to your destiny. Accept them lovingly. Look what you just pulled. Look what you just pulled. You just pulled this. It's, again, we're talking about relationships, right? And you're like, I got to be careful that I don't connect to a narcissist. And look, what the fuck I pulled. Excuse my language, but I pull signifies uncontrollable events or relationships connected to your destiny. Accept them lovingly. So, what do you say? Like, oh my God, does that mean I'm stuck with a narcissist? No, no. I know. Listen, you'll lose. You can. People die. My father got cancer 9 times because he was with a narcissist. Those people steal your life force. They've messed with your mind, where they gaslight you. They make you feel guilty for having opinions. You're not allowed an identity. It's like, yeah, and they know exactly how to camouflage themselves. They know exactly how it's, again, they read your energy. They're psychic too, and they're reading it so that they can be like, okay, I this person like this person, so that they gain trust. It's, again, that's why they do that. They gain trust, and you're really close up to the picture, and you really care. Then, like, you're not gonna see. You're not going to see. Thank God you're not with a narcissist, because narcissists, like I said, they create that because they steal your life force. They are the ultimate energy vampire. You're not allowed an opinion. You're not allowed any of it. My mother was a narcissist sociopath, and those people don't care. They get off on hurting, and it's, again, they steal your life force, and they do so because it's, again, when you have really bad root chakra imbalances, it's, again, you're living in fear all the time because you don't like yourself, number one, and you don't trust yourself. Those people, again, narcissists, they need deep intensive healing. So they need outside resources to fuel their life force because they don't have a light. They don't have that. So what happens is that they, again, latch on to somebody that has a lot of life force. Unfortunately, a lot of people that have life forces, they're empaths, they're sensitives. So they have to, you like, again, empaths have to be really careful. They have to create boundaries. They have to love themselves. They have to value themselves. And a lot of empaths, like I said, did not get the love and the nurturing that they needed. So would you be destined to be with a narcissist? I think everybody has a bit of narcissist qualities inside of themselves. And I think that people tend to treat people the way that they know how to treat them. And so it's, again, it's, so a narcissist actually thinks that they really are loving you and are that way. They just don't realize that, again, their emotions wind up taking over, number one. Number two, what they want today is not what they want tomorrow, because emotions are fluid, they don't stay the same. And so, and that they try to create constant stability, and they're acting like you're an extension of them. So they don't know how to treat you any better. They only know how to treat you from the level of consciousness that they, that they come from. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that hide behind the Bible. I don't believe in the Christian church, though I do believe in, like, again, a Christ consciousness. I believe that we don't need a church. I believe the people that come into our lives are our congregation. The people that come into our lives that teach us something, that show us love unconditionally, that's our church. It's, again, why? Because it's a walking church. Because why do you go to church? You go to church to learn higher Christian, supposedly, or higher consciousness, or like to be a better person, to get better character. Why? Because they made a man that to be like a person that had good character. It's, again, and we're supposed to look like that. So it's, again, but that church doesn't tell me that. It's like life tells me that, how interactive you are with me, how interactive I am with you, how much love am I giving you, how much support are you giving me. It's, again, it's a two-way street. That's the congregation. That's the family. That is what it is. It's, again, they will try and they've distorted everything. They've distorted everything to, again, for their profit, or and that's not just church, it's everywhere, it's every single structure, And you see that. That's why a lot of the structures in man-made are breaking down, which is creating a lot of narcissism. It's creating a lot of fear-based consciousness. Because if you live in fear for long periods of time, you believe after a while that there's not enough money, that there's not enough to go around, that the food is bad, that you become more from a survival perspective. Narcissism comes from that. So to understand, if you grew up without any love, if you grew up without someone showing you support, if you grew up being smothered, again, and babied, you get the same thing, because the second chakra imbalance means that person never formed their individuality. They don't know who they are. Right. That's why they need to control, and they need to be right all the time, and they need to be worshipped. Right. And everything that they do is for their attention. So it's an extension of them. Only they don't like themselves. So that's the fucking problem. It's like, it would be one thing if you liked yourself and you treated yourself good, because then at least you're treating me good, but you don't even like that. So it's just a shit deal. It's like, and that's the issue. It's like you're dealing with somebody that, again, that is the most fearful, but they're the ones that want to run the show. They're the most broken, but they're the ones that want to be in charge. That's what the problem is. And that's what you're seeing within the world today. A bunch of narcissists running the world that only care about themselves. It's again, and gotten away from what the regular principles were, which was, like, it was based on love. It's like, united we stand, like divided we fall. It's like on love, on bringing people together, on working together, on unity. And empaths have that. So where empaths don't, but what created that? Yeah, well, they love empaths. What are you talking about? They love them. They love to steal their energy and destroy them, because they can feel the emotional pain they inflict. Because again, narcissists are walking a very fine line to sociopaths. I mean, I'm so glad, Lynn. Like, I mean, because it sucks when when you have um when you begin to live around someone like that, or you're gaslighted. And that's what, that these cards, again, really any cards that we use are supposed to teach us how to strengthen our own capabilities, really. So let's pull a card for you. And Four of Cups, open up. So you are emotionally closed and ignore all the love that surrounds you and is offered to you. Open up. So, did you resonate with that card, Lynn, that I pulled for you? I mean, I feel like sometimes if we were brought up um in a narcissistic environment, or again had a narcissistic like person in our life, then it's very difficult to open up, because it's very difficult to trust, right? So we have to say, well, how does a person change that? Because if you become stuck like that, eventually you might not be surrounded by anybody that's narcissist. It's again, so I feel like yes and no. It's again, I feel like real intimacy close, or maybe when you first, maybe it holds you back from going out and first being open. But once you make those relationships, I kind of feel like you're open. That's what I'm feeling. I don't feel like if you again put the effort in and someone was there, you would definitely be open. Which means that your natural way of being is to be an empath, to be a highly sensitive person, to be caring person, but being that you grew up around certain things, or again were around certain things, now it's more difficult for you to open up. So maybe you're in this phase of um, I want more passion in my life. That's really what I'm feeling off that. Not that you don't open up, but I do feel like because of past situations that, again, there's still a little bit of that. But who the hell doesn't have that? Everybody has that. And what really heals it is the healing path. It's the walk. Right. So it's indeed your nature is to be that way, but because of who you've been around and what you've witnessed, and really I feel like what you witnessed, that it's like it's like there's that. And so understand, when we go through experiences that make us afraid, they make us like scared, and like it's a trauma. It becomes a trauma because then we don't feel safe, and our mind remembers that. It's in our consciousness. And so there's a sense of, well, how do I know that that can't happen again? Why did that person get tricked? A lot of people feel like they got tricked from a narcissist, but understand, even a narcissist can't fool cannot fool you if you're balanced, because again, when you're balanced, it means that you're, again, goes back to this timelessness. Is, I have always loved to do this. It's what makes me unique. It's my passion for life. It's like, it's the way I give and receive of love. It's how I keep my focus on where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I need to do. It's how I train people, including a narcissist. Because if I'm doing this, there's almost only so much time, energy, focus, and money. So when the person gets together with you and you're like doing this, they can't turn around and tell you that you can't. They can't tell you that. They can't say, oh, like, well, we can't, you're not allowed to like go to your healing classes, or you're not allowed to like invest in yourself, you know. Right. So it's again blown away by so many betrayals. But that's why it's, again, that your heart, I felt like then this card resonates with you. It's not that you're not, you're, again, exactly what I felt, which is you naturally are a loving person, but due to like what has happened, but what God was saying is, if we pulled this card for you, it's saying this is what needs to be looked at, Lady Jane. That it's, again, you need to open up, and you're like, well, listen, that's mighty fine for you to say, but I've had 5 betrayals in the last week. How the hell do I get over that? And what God is saying is, you have to, again, create yourself. It's, again, and that's by starting where you are, and that's through, again, like investing in yourself, giving yourself the love that you need. Right. So that's why I'm saying it's not that it's like what God is saying. It's like, oh, no, you're like, no, it's not really that bad. And God's saying, yes, it is. It's like open up on every level, which is join things, find yourself, give yourself the love that you need. Understand, part of betrayal happens because you've given too much to someone else and not enough to yourself. Balance comes in from not being so close up to the picture, to be honest with you. You know, it's like when we're so close up to the picture. So then I pulled, again, look at this, 4 of Cups, attachment. So it's, again, maybe, but it was upside down. So attachment to me is, again, when it's upside down, it's almost like maybe you have attachment to like the ways that it needs to do, like the ways that you're, what are you doing at work? Oh, I'm doing the work. Yeah, and I'm sure like right now you're doing the work, but I think it's to add passion into your life is what I'm getting at. I think it's hard just to do work, which is like, I need to do shadow work. I need to look at what happened, you know. It's like, oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Lynn. You know, I mean, that's why God said, you got to show up, Laura, because I am insecure myself. I'm like, I don't know how this shit's going to go. Last time I talked and the camera wasn't on for an hour. And God says, you got to get back on the horse and you got to try. And it sucks because we get nervous. But as long as it's about support, you know, I mean, you being here for me is giving me just as much as what you're, vice versa. And that's how it works. It's, again, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. There is a spiritual synergy that happens when you are like, again, looking for something. God says, I give you support. Understand, it means that at one time you did not feel like you were supported. You didn't have support. Thank you. Thank you. I wish Facebook users that you put your names. I hate that it's like it's easier for me to talk to Lynn because she's got a name next to her. It's like these random Facebook users. It's like I'm kind of annoyed with Restream how it doesn't include the person's name. But thank you, Doug. You know, it's driving me crazy. But It's true. It's like it means that you weren't supported. Have to give yourself the love that you gave someone else, and that's really hard. It's hard because it seems boring and it seems lonely, but it's during those lonely parts that you learn the most about yourself. It's when you get this when you should be forming a relationship with God, really. And that's through your internal work. And that's, you can't just do the work. You have to, again, have fun, find a passion, is what we're talking about, because the people that you meet need to be like minded. There needs to be glue. And without glue, there's no reason why a person needs to stay in your life. And that's the thing. It's like birds of a feather flock together. It's what will create the support when there is no support. And that might seem useless, but it's not. It's what creates a strong foundation. Because in life, that we got to be able to go with the flow. And it's hard to do that because people will betray you. People will try and get over on you. We will mess up. We will get in our way. There will be opportunities that will let us down. And so, how does a person persevere? After a while, you would feel like, well, I keep getting knocked down. It's like I can't get knocked down anymore. And so, that thing, it's again spiritual growth. I feel like that's where you were, Lynn, and whoever else is for this, because again, a lot of times, spirit doesn't just bring one person, brings a lot of people to us, and those people, over time, like again, when we keep on getting this energy over time, over time, over time, over time, over time, you just become it, and you're not even thinking of it. Life just becomes where you have rewired your entire mind. By the way, guys, I have a TV show that I do every Tuesday night. It's called Rewired. I always post the link up on Facebook. And I offer to do psychic readings on air on the show. So anytime you guys want to get a reading, a personal reading, and wouldn't mind being on the show, just let me know. A lot of people right now, they're really like in a lost place because of what's going on in the world, and just understand that it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. Again, if you imagine it, you can create it. It's getting to that place of being able to believe it, and that's, you can only happen when you're being like childlike. It can only happen when you're doing what you love, and that's where you need to be, Lynn. Otherwise, you are going to rewrite the same negative scripts with around people. You don't want to do that. It's like your 6 weeks and one-on-one therapy sessions, right? Oh, that's so good. Again, so that, and now is also by creating the chariot. Look at that. The chariot, and what the chariot is what? Self-awareness, my love. Self-awareness. It means one step forward, two steps backwards. A desire may be hampered by fear. Awareness allows for progress. So you're being asked again, what did I say? It's like it's not just about the spiritual stuff now, because you just finished that. What did I say in the beginning of this podcast? It's about being in your body is actually when you're actually more spiritual than when you're in your, like in your brain, like in your mind. It's because in the now is when you get divine guidance. So it's when you're interactive in life and what you're doing. And so if you're not doing stuff that you're passionate about, then it's like you're not going to be able to go with the flow. You want to meet people that are also doing that kind of stuff so that they understand what it looks like. This way you don't get involved with a narcissist. You don't get involved with someone that doesn't have an identity, so they don't understand why you want one. You know what I mean? It's like they won't have a problem investing in you because they see you invest in yourself. And if you're doing it, then you're attracting someone that does it too. So you're teaching a person right off the bat on how you want to be treated. And that's really important, especially when we've gone through a traumatic thing with husbands that have betrayed us, and wives that have betrayed us, and best friends that have betrayed us, and other ways. It's again, even when we've done spiritual stuff, because what happens is my best friend does great readings. She does great readings, but she can't read it. Her life is a mess. I look at her life and I'm like, if her clients knew her life, they would be like, I'm never getting a reading from you because your life is a mess. Why would I take advice from you? And it's not because she's a really good reader. Yeah, for trying to figure out who you are and what makes you happy, and that's through first again letting your spirit guide you the same way it guided you to the 6 week class, and maybe it's to do more healing work so that again you can help other people. It's again or pick a niche from a bunch of different healing things and find what resonates. I don't believe in being a jack of all trades, master of nothing. I believe niches are the best way because it's otherwise then it's almost like everybody does the same thing. It's like we have a unique style. That's what makes our individuality. It's what makes you you. It's again. So you was a wife and a mother, right, for over 25 years. So then, right, so you really need to go out and figure it out. And that might be take a class. So again, invest in yourself. That's the way. Right, trans healing, anything having to do with healing, because you again, then if you become really good at it, then you go on Udemy and find out how to get certified in it. I have to drink more. I've had 6 kidney stone surgeries in the past since the summer, and I've been good since, but I had conditioned myself not to drink. I grew up in a family is like where my mother locked us out of the house all day with no water, and I trained myself not to pee. And then I felt comfortable just not to pee ever or have brain fog. I mean, isn't that crazy? And you can actually live that way because I did. It's like I think I used to take it like a few sips of apple juice, maybe a few sips of soda here and there. I mean, totally dehydrated. Anyway, I pulled the tower, and this is positive changes, but it's reverse. So, again, I want to know who is on the stream that is nervous right now. Who is nervous where they are? Who just ended a relationship? Who ended a relationship, or a job might have ended, or was it an abrupt end to something? Is again the tower when it's reversed is usually means that it means that there was an abrupt change, that maybe you found out something um, about somebody, so now you're seeing again they're different. Thank you. I'm actually trying to be a lot better. So Natalie, hi Natalie here. I feel that I've had years of being put down that I now have distanced myself from those folks, and now I need to believe I am worthy and go for it. I know I have the gifts and what to do, but I tend to self-sabotage. But now I'm ready to shed that and give myself the best. And you know how you do that, Natalie? Because everyone falls off the mark. I got to tell you, being a highly sensitive person, our emotions get the best of us. It just does. It's what makes us electric. It's that electric charge is what makes shit happen. People can feel that. It's the energy, it's the passion, it's the drive, it's all those things. That's why, again, a lot of empaths and highly sensitive people fall prey to addiction because it's, again, they're not seen the way that they want to be seen, or the execution part doesn't come out well. When a person has spiritual blocks, it's again they do self-sabotage. And so first and foremost, what I would do is I would create a spiritual practice where it's listening to spiritual material, like listen to the silver ultramind method that gets you down into the delta state frequency. That will allow you to intuitively have a relationship with your own intuitive guidance, again, system, the God inside. So it's again because part of reconditioning your nervous system means that you're able to act in the now. Only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut intuition, inner knowing. What happens is that we intuitively get information, and then we act. Yeah, it's actually, I say the silver ultra method. It's called the ESP. And yes, it gets you down to the delta frequency, how there's the different consciousnesses. So there's like active state consciousness, which is wake state, which is what we are now. And then there's a delta and there's an alpha and there's another one. And don't ask me which order is which because I don't know. I just know that the silver ultra method gets you down to that level of consciousness that allows you to just automatically tap into your intuition. See, most of the time with highly sensitive people, we get anxiety. So it's again like Natalie. So when she said, yep, because it's like, yeah, because it's that execution part. It's that you get overstimulated and it's like, I don't trust myself because I get in my own way or I did something. So part of this is you have to again train your mind to be able to get that intuitive insight. And that's through listening to like you can download it right off Audible, Silver, Silver Ultramind method, and again it's the ESP system. They say call it the ESP business system, and it's so and what you listen to that in the morning and at the night while you're already in bed. They tell you to close your eyes and you listen to it. Sometimes you'll fall asleep, sometimes you won't. If you do it in the morning, you got to set your alarm clock twice just in case you do fall asleep. But you're training yourself because anything can be reconditioned. You've trained yourself to live in over like again in anxiety, in being overstimulated. So it's again our emotions and our are going to be overstimulated when we're excited to begin with. So again, being calm and relaxed is what's hard. It's what's hard for us. But understand, if you can train it, you can recondition your mind, and that would also, so that would be part of your daily practice. Another part of your daily practice might be to do weight training. Why? It's again the breath on the out that shuts off the automatic nervous system. So it's again being in five flat free is because you have grounding issues. It's not the higher states of consciousness. I get intuitive insight. I can have ideas. I have passions. I know what I want. I'm doing whatever. So I just think that that's what that is. It's like that. It's that. Yeah, the Silver Ultra method is a great system, and it's like I said, it has this tap that is sort of like the, and so and that you begin to hear that tap, but he also like it teaches you how to heal your body. It really that state of mind helps you heal your body. Because again, look at what I pulled. I put Eight of Wands, Reign of Activity. So if I was gonna use this card for healing, I'd say again, sometimes in overstimulation, we try to do too much. And again, that or thinking that we have to do so much, and that also creates that anxiety. So again, getting in the now, getting in the moment, getting again, breathing is possible part of it. What's your problem? Someone said that they have a problem. Let me help. First of all, I don't know who you are. And that drives me crazy. It's like, who are you? It's like, it's not fair that it's again, they don't have it. I can help, but you got to leave a message or like again, because I don't know who I'm tapping into. Okay, so it's again, look at this altruism, which is how, oh my God, these glasses, I need new glasses. It looks like now is the time for emotional and spiritual renewal. You are creative, intuitive, and a giving person. So it's again, I feel like Facebook, like again, the person that I said to do, like for Lynn, for sure, and also for the Facebook user that I just talked to about training your nervous systems. I feel like you guys are on your spiritual path. It's time again for the renewal that you are a giving person, you are intuitive, and you are creative. And so it's again, but understand it's about having that love care with yourself. Okay, now you froze up to wait. You can go on to Facebook later and view this from there to see who said what. Oh, people said stuff. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I can't see anything. You know what? I'm gonna start to go on here because it's like it's your nervous system. You know what? I'm also gonna open it up here because I don't understand why. Like again, I'm not getting messages. What kind of platform is this? Like I'm on this thing. I'm on this damn thing, and I'm not seeing anything. That's kind of annoying me. All right, well, I'm gotta go back to page. See that now when you have a lot of pages, it's a production. But that kind of makes me annoyed. Watch, I'm gonna be looking at myself in a second. I am on my phone. Okay, yeah, that's right, because there's comments here and I am not seeing. Okay, I better shut that off. So I don't have the echo because that's really not gonna work either. So I'm sorry about the comments. I'm gonna have to like use like a different system. Listen, mastery comes in doing. God's like you're gonna look like a shit show because you don't know what the hell you're doing. But that's okay. Listen, that won't stop me. But as far as the nervous system, um, you that's the worst for highly sensitive people. You gotta train your nervous system. It's like, and that's a combination. Understand? I feel like for you, you gotta use. I'm glad you all find it entertaining. But like, I feel like for you, that's a person that says it is my nervous system. I feel like you're lacking vitamins and minerals. That's like when I tapped in, it was like, and that's a lot of times you don't realize your nervous system needs extra support. It's again, if you're always nervous and you're not eating properly, or if you're not getting enough nutrients, that needs to be looked at because you need to look at your adrenals. Because it's again, everywhere where you have a chakra, you have an endocrination system. Your self awareness being from the first generation from 1963. Like I listen, I don't care because now you're just being like I don't really care like what you're trying to say there. It's like I'm talking to somebody here. It's again whether or not like it's self-awareness. Like I don't care. Like it like I mean there's always going to be someone that tries to come in and say look at me during your show. I don't care. It's like it might sound rude, but it's like I'm in the middle of sharing with somebody about their nervous system and when they have thyroid issues and when they have that's again a survival. Yeah, I don't care. Like it's again, it's like because it's again doesn't it's like I mean if I what I care about is this person's adrenals and their thyroid that are bad. It's like because when their adrenals and thyroid are bad, that means they have a root chakra imbalance. It means that they don't trust themselves. It means that they're worried. It means that they're a highly sensitive person. It's like, and it's again, it's just the way that you went about it. If you're looking for help, then say, I'm looking for help. It's like, do I understand this? It's like, do I understand? Why would I care? That's what I'm trying to say. My adrenals, like it's again, yeah, like it's say that it's that kind of stuff. It's like to me that again person that's suffering from health and issues it's like it's scary. We're like right exactly look I just detoxed with thyroid cancer. My surgery is set too. So yeah, so that's a spiritual issue. That's what's important here. It's like that's what's important. Somebody that really needs support. And so it's again because that's an A number one scary. So your nervous system probably is always in fight, flight, freeze. And that's why I felt like somebody needs nutrients. Someone needs support. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, and you're gonna take this down. I'm actually gonna get it. I'm gonna show you, Natalie. I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna post it up on Facebook and I'm gonna tag you in it. There's this product, it's called Ambrosia. There was a woman, and I swear on everything I love, she had thyroid cancer and she did not want to go through chemotherapy. She did not want to go through chemotherapy. And so she took this product and she took it like a lot, and it healed her of her. So anyone that is lacking nutrients, anybody, I suffered. I was on. I'm going to take a picture of it for you because I want to make sure that I'm saying the right thing for you. I'm telling you, and then I'm going to link you up to this person that's online. It's again, I wound up getting somebody reached out to me from Berlin, and at the time I was a beginning healer, and I have suffered from chronic sinus infections. I was on a merry-go-round of sinus infections where I was taking antibiotics and I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and weaker and weaker. And what happened was wound up I wound up going to this thing they invited me to. I thought it was like I was meeting a friends. It wasn't that. It was like they were trying to get me in to like sell this stuff, and I didn't really believe in it. But they were telling the woman up there, Angie Law, was saying how she was suffering from an autoimmune system problem. And then this other woman got up and said how she had thyroid cancer. And someone else got up and started talking. So it made me think, and they were talking about how epigenetics is your environment that creates your reality, and how our genes talk to each other. And when you're not eating the nutrients that your body needs, the cells can't communicate with each other. So, a large part of people's problems is that they're not getting the nutrients that they need for their body to heal. Your mind and body are self healing organisms. So, this is why things like balance in nature work, but this works better because it's like all your vitamins, all your minerals, all your antioxidants, and everything. So, what is the best way to heal from trauma? The best way to heal from trauma is first, again, you have to train your nervous system. That's number one. Why? It's again, you have to heal your mind first because your mind controls your nervous system. So I would say first, can listen to that. The ultra system, ESP system, is again that taps you into learning how to listen to your intuition instead of so much your logical linear mind, because your logical linear mind is what holds all your traumas. That's number one. Number two, you have to train your nervous system through doing body mind work, through doing breath work, through again doing, and then part of it too is everybody's trauma is different. Where it's again where I became oversensitized, where somebody else gets detachment, where somebody else, and some people have a multitude of different things. So shadow healing is important. It's again, and if you don't know how to do shadow healing, then you go and you type in shadow healing and you look up, you print out down PDF files or downwardable, like they have like ways to do it, or you can purchase my Psychic Soul Healing Oracle system, which teaches you how to do that, because it's about digging deep inside of ourselves. Right, it's too sensitive. Like, what's too sensitive for you to do? Like, again, when you again have gotten too much sensitivity from trauma. Right, right. A sinus infection, that's a sign of, again, survival. Believe it or not, it's that we have conditioned our nervous system. So part of people's health issues is that they don't get the nutrients, so their cells are not communicating. And a lot of the vitamins have tar in them. So, and understand, yes. So that's why I was saying, when you, again, are living in survival, again, which is that's a trained, again, I can't help it, I just always think what I have to do, what's going to happen, what. So it's again, when you live from that level of consciousness, you wind up really, again, like creating, like you don't, the hypersensitivity, so then everything comes. So you have to create the quiet time, realize it's not about changing your environment, though sometimes it is beneficial, but it's about changing yourself. So for, again, reconditioning anything creates a structure, creates a daily practice. You cannot just change yourself, and habits usually aren't done unless there's a passion behind it. I mean, consistently, we can force ourselves to do it. Right. Eventually we get burnt out. Like, well, I think, well, and I think that that's good. I mean, the shadow healing from, again, any person that will teach it. But I think real healing comes in the integration process. Is, again, when we have a passion, and the passion leads us again to, let's do a shadow healing like spread, like, also to see, like, let's see, like, again, what I channel out, and like, and what, where the hell did, oh, the deck went here. I'm like, where the hell did the deck? I don't really like this app because it keeps going dark on me where I have to like click on things to make sure it doesn't do it. It taps into like multiple channels, but there's definitely things I don't like. Yes, it's called Ambrosia, but I think with an A, and I am going to post it. Actually, I won't because you guys won't have it, so I'm going to have to maybe take a picture and then upload it. I won't be able to upload it. I'll have to type it out possibly, or hold it up to the screen. So I'll have to get it. Okay, so grounding. So it's, again, number one, when someone said, how do I heal my nervous system? How do I heal my sickness? How do I heal? How do I advance in life when you're a highly sensitive person? Let's to ground. That's number one. Number one is to know that you're in your body and to take care of your body. That first chakra is all about the physical world, the physical body, all major elements of the physical body, including the major structures of the physical body known as your endocrine system. Okay, so when we have psychological and emotional imbalances with himself, then what happens is we tend to not be as grounded. We're up in our head. So it's really kind of important that we heal our mind first and we learn how to ground, right? So that would be, well, I listen to meditations, or again, or the Ultra Mind System and a bunch of other healing ones. And I think that you can't listen to one tape all the time. I don't think that it's like for anyone. We get bored, we get burnt out, your body gets immune. We tend to not listen consistently. We get bored. Again, we're not meant to be robots. So it's to listen to a bunch of different healing stuff. Because what you'll notice is you'll take bits and pieces from everywhere and make it into your own concoction that works best for you. That's important. Christ consciousness is always to say, well, I don't really know. Great. I'm so glad you love the shadow healing. Yay! like, but like we want to come from a place of Christ consciousness, which is this higher consciousness, which is of good character. I say character is everything. I mean, it'll be tested. Someone will always try and throw shade on you, but if your character is good, hey, that's what people see, and they always become that. It's like become the highest vibration of yourself, and it's, again, treat people the way you want to be treated by having good character. That means, it doesn't mean be a doormat. It means I have honor, I persevere, I like all those higher traits. We're not self-sacrificing for a person. Maybe a cause, again, something for the whole, but never for a person. It's, again, for the collective, because, again, the way that we're tapped into the collective is how we're tapped into God. It's how you give and receive of love, which is your free will, which is how you get money, or should be getting money. Otherwise, because money has no energy except for the energy you give it. So to know, okay, let's see how you can advise us here with our issues collectively. Okay, well, this is right here, because no one said anything. So it's grounding, Christ consciousness. So the biggest thing for empaths is that we have good intuition. Sometimes we don't act on it. We can feel it though. And so our biggest issue tends to be that we're not grounded, or we feel that we're too grounded, but being too grounded is still not grounded, because then you're overstimulating your mind. Again, I'm really, really grounded. It's, again, so you're still not grounded. So you need to, again, have a good balance between being grounded and Christ consciousness. And that's the only way that happens, is to train your body and mind to work together, because what it means is that there's detachment. This, again, and most highly sensitive people have that energy. I want to definitely run up and get you guys that I wanted that ambrosia. Shadow dislocation is again detachment from the shadow self. Um, so understanding your emotions are the gateway to spiritual healing. If you want to know the truth, it's like, again, anytime you get triggered, anytime someone pisses you off, anytime that something feels off, anything time we feel that resistance, is again, we need to look into it. A lot of times it's not highly sensitive people shut down at first, or it's just reactionary. So it's again, the way that we can do that is get a good balance again between being grounded and those higher chakras. So being grounded would be not just doing your yoga and your journaling and all that bullshit, because that's kind of boring, and it's there's no meat and potatoes to life. Then why are we doing that? It's like, it's almost like we're just doing it and staying stuck internally. The whole point to journaling and meditation is so that you're interactive. You need to become part of the world, be in the world without becoming a part of it. That's what they say. So that's through your purpose, your individuality. Um, that's how highly sensitive people tend to be able to heal their shadow. Realize that you have spent the better part of 62 years underground still learning to make second nature to be right. A lot of people do, though. It's again, if no one taught you how to be grounded, you don't just know how to be grounded. It doesn't work that way. It's again detachment. Most highly sensitive people are detached. That means we know what happened. It's just the trauma or the emotional trauma, like it makes you detach. It makes you say, I know what happened, but I forget pieces of what happened. Or I know what happened, but I don't really know how it affected me. It's like, or I know what happened, but it's like almost foggy, like I watched it happen to somebody else. So this is what detachment is. People that have detachment issues due to trauma, they have intimacy problems. So let's talk about relationships. Right, very detached when that's created from trauma. So someone very detached is either seen as non-emotional, non-caring, almost like they don't feel, but understand they do feel. If they allowed themselves to really feel, they would become so overly stimulated. They wouldn't be able to feel anything. They wouldn't be able to feel anything. It's again, overstimulation is like we get detached. It's a survival mechanism. It's again, I know what happened, but I don't remember parts of it, or maybe I don't remember. It seems foggy and hazy. And so that trauma is now held in your body. It's like it's not even your mind. Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and coming on here. I so appreciate you. I do. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. So again, detachment is all about that. It's so people need to look at their relationships when they're talking about detachment. It's like, because it's again, um, being detached affects our relationships the most. It's like, and really the passion for certain things. I'm gonna get up. I want to like show you guys that ambrosia, and then I'm gonna be signing off soon. So if anyone has any last minute questions, write them in the chat so that when I come back, I can answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna sign off soon because I feel like, after a while people get burnt out. But I'm gonna be on regularly. Um, I want to do live streams regularly where I'm pulling cards and you guys can ask questions and stuff like that. I always love to do a healing segment first. I think that it's so important before you pull cards, because we always like to look at the overall energy of a person's situation. And if a person needs healing, we want to fix that first. So then this way, when they're actually trying to create something, manifest something, and that's why they're asking cards or advice, they're coming from the right level of consciousness. They're coming from a place of balance, you know? Like I want to, yeah, see, and share what resources. I'll be right back. Okay, don't mind the way that I look, because I know I look crazy. Just realized it was like I threw on my sweatpants. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad. So this is ambrosia. This is what it looks like. All right. That's what it looks like. And this is plus, and this is for your adrenals. So it's again, this is for like this is your the nutrients, and this right here is for your specifically for adrenals, and you can read all about it. And um, Angie Law, I just want to like look up on Facebook, um, because like I said on Facebook, Angie Law, like she has this Angie Law. She has this thing, which I don't. If you reach out to her and you ask her, she looks like this, Angie Law, and she's in charge of this greenhouse. What Angie's Option. So Angie's Option, if you Google it too, you can find it, and it has all these like health, um, healthy resources. Like for instance, like grains and everything that has GMOs like in it, like you can buy without the GMOs in it. They give you resources. She started this grassroots movement because she was deathly sick with her autoimmune system. Oh, I'm so glad that you took it. That's good. Like I said, I'm telling you, the girl had adrenal cancer, thyroid cancer. Said this. This woman, like, got up. I couldn't believe it, and she cured it. Now, mind you, it was expensive to cure it because I mean, like one of these things is like I think I haven't bought it in a while. I'm not gonna lie, but when I was really sick, I needed it all the time. But see, the body and mind can heal itself. So if you start a regimen and then you recondition your nervous system, you don't need to take stuff like this all the time. You know, but it when you again, right? Well, when you have thyroid issue, and this is what balances you out. It's called ambrosia, ambrosia, or something like that. Ambrosia. And then there's this, and so you would, and it's and Manatech puts it out. So it's you take a screenshot of it, Manatech puts that, or if you type it in, you'll see and then they have a whole write up on it. But this woman took like 3 of these a day or something, like not three or something crazy like, but she cured it. And when we were like, that's expensive, she said, well, how much do you think chemotherapy is? How much do you think? And she was like, and I didn't lose any hair. I didn't die. Like again, like those things are just poison that you're putting into your body. This is actually healed. And I also heard other stories. Like Angie said, she was so weak. She was doing like aerobics and she couldn't even lift her arm up, and she was going to all these holistic doctors. They were giving her these vitamins. The vitamins actually have tar in them a lot. So you don't know what you're ingesting. And so that's the thing. Our cells communicate to each other. So if there's GMOs in there, how it was explained to me, it's like they're taking the vowels out of words. And so you wouldn't understand a person if they talk to you without vowels. Well, it's the same thing with food, like the food doesn't understand, like the cells can't communicate. And this is what causes an overactive or an underactive immune system. So first you want to try and balance yourself out and get yourself out up to a place of health. And then you're able to like, incorporate different holistic and spiritual regimens into your life to recondition your nervous system to and a lot of times you shouldn't look at this as a sickness. You should look at it as a spiritual journey. It's again into self because it might bring you to your soul's path, especially if you heal it. It might bring you to other destinies that lead to better things. So we never give the sickness or again imbalance that much of attention, like where we're giving it that much power. We're dealing with it with nutrition and healing, and we're surrounding ourselves with the support that helps us see different perceptions of our situation. Because understand, when we have a thyroid problem and it's again connected to that endocrine gland, then what we're realizing is we're living in survival. We don't feel safe. We don't feel safe on some level. So you want to create spiritually the safety that your spirit is seeking. Like, I have support, I am okay, that I am balanced, because usually what's wrong. And so and you heal your body with the right nutrition, and you heal your spirit through creating that support and the love. And then it's again, when you're balanced, then anything goes. Now, does anyone have anything they want to say or share, or want me to pull any more cards? Dear Prudence. um, it's again, that's telling me maybe that it's time to close off, because it's again, I don't want to burn you guys out. I'm just gonna clear you off. If no one has anything else to say, I am going to thank everybody for tuning in. And thank you. And I will be on again now. You guys can find me by going to Laura Schwalm on Facebook, or reaching out to me on YouTube if that's where you found me, because I see a lot of people here from YouTube, and I see a lot of people here from my Facebook group. So please, whatever. You're not. I'm not what? I'm not on Facebook? I know that Christ consciousness is the awareness of the higher self. Well, that's a paradox right there. Detachment is a realization of your own connection to your connection to soul. Always connected synonymously in meaning detachment, but we are always connected to source consciousness. How do you explain that, Laura? What that in small part enables our current existence here on this planet. I wish you would stop attempting to fool these. I enjoyed it. Who is this? Like, there's always somebody on here that wants to say something negative, and it's only because they don't have their own show going on. So it's like, I think that it's always a journey like that. And I thank you, Deborah Rose, for enjoying it. And I thank you, can't post messages to some channels. Okay, I don't need to. I don't need you to go off. Oh no, let me see. I didn't mean to lock anyone off. Thank you so much, Lynn, and everyone else that joined the live stream and was interactive and a positive source of stuff. I really appreciate it. And for those of you that just have issues, like, I mean, go get your own show. Like, what can I tell you? Not gonna rain on my parade. I do great every day. I love my life and I love what I do. And, like I said, we all have a higher self, but we all, again, there is a Christ consciousness in all of us. If you don't feel it, that's your issue. Um, we all have detachment, especially if we've gone through it. I know April Fontana connected me to. Oh, and let me tell you something. I miss April. I miss April. I can't believe she was taken from us so soon. Like, that was just so devastating. I used to do April's reading like once a year, and then when I found that out, it really affected me, because she was young and she was beautiful and she was just such a good spirit. So I'm so glad that she connected you to me, and like I said, she's an awesome person, and I thank you so much, Lynn, for sharing your energy here tonight with me. You made my night, you and Deborah Rose and the rest of you that actually were positive sources in my first live stream event. I hope you guys are on with me next time. Um, oh, wow. Thank thank you. So, Deborah, like, that's pretty crazy. Like, that, but that's the special. That's really special. And who knows? Maybe you connected here tonight again, and you got your messages of what you needed. Again, that was the way that your dad, spoke. Sometimes our angels brings us, that intuition and, you know, that stuff. I believe your dad is very, I don't know, I keep feeling proud. That's what I keep feeling. I keep feeling that he's proud of you. It's again, um, I'm so, like, you know what I mean? I feel like he's proud that he's happy. Like, again, for you. Again, and I feel like you're a strong person. You may not feel like you're strong, but I think that you are. It's again, and that there's a good, strong, still bond that I feel like you and your dad still have. That ESP connection is through the heart and the mind. I'm going to try and be on like more than once a week because my friend that I ran into, Mike Ramblin, he has a YouTube channel on here, and I'm the one that told him to do it. This started like 5 years ago when I met him at the St. Augustine flea market, and he would say, "You need to do YouTube. You need to do YouTube," and I really didn't want to do it. And then I got my own TV show. So you guys, anytime, go to Facebook. Every Tuesday, you can catch the link for my TV show, and if you don't catch it on air, you can catch it in my other YouTube page. But if you want ever a free reading, you can join. Sign up to be a guest on my show. You can get the reading for free. But like, there's I'm gonna try and do it every day because when I ran into him yesterday, he said, "You need to do YouTube every day, every day, every day, and when you don't feel like doing it, you need to do it every day." And like, let me tell you, it took me a long time just to get on here tonight. I had a lot of things, you don't know, and you're always afraid to get, again, whoever this person is, this I was gonna say something rude. Like, I mean, you always have somebody on that that's going to be negative, and that's going to say something like that, stop. So I had let myself, get in the way. So I'm going to try and do it a little bit more often. So I want to thank everybody again for being on, and I will talk to you guys all soon. And like, you can find me on Facebook, and if ever you guys have questions, just leave it there, or it's, again, don't be afraid to hesitate. Just say something in the chat. All right.